What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Field. I am your host, Alex Funderburke. We got a great show for you today. March Madness on the men and women's side, and then we're going to talk some baseball with Johnny Jackson. Hitting the Field starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Field. It's been a busy sports week. You had the men and women's Final Four. You had the women's championship game last night. We got the men's championship game tonight. We're going to talk about it all. I got Jaret with me today. Jaret, how you doing?
I had to call in, the veteran to come in,
The vet.
give some great basketball analysis here. I'm glad to be here. It's been a while, been busy with school, but it's always nice to stop by and be on the show, not just do behind the scenes. So
Yeah, no, it's always fun having you on, the former host of the show. You were kind enough to give me your seat for the semester, and I appreciate that. But
yeah,
let's jump
hopefully we
right.
keep it going forward.
No, for sure.
That's
It's going to be
the
great.
plan.
It's always the plan. Let's jump right into the women's national championship game. And what a game it was. I mean, early on in the first quarter, it looked like Stanford was going to run away. And then Ari McDonald kind of caught fire there and got Arizona back in the game. Arizona had a chance to win it at the buzzer, and Ari McDonald's shot just missed. Stanford, your national champions. I mean, Jared, what were your thoughts on this game?
Well, I mean, I had UConn winning, so a little disappointed. But overall, I mean, it was a solid game. It was a solid competitive basketball game. I mean, Haley Jones, I have to say, I mean, she was outstanding player of the tournament, but she was the catalyst for Stanford. I mean, 17 points last night. I mean, almost had a double-double. What was she? 8 rebounds, 17 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, that kind of performance in a national championship at the spotlight at which she's playing. I mean, I know she's been part of USA basketball, but like she's a future first round pick, probably possibly a top 3 pick in women's basketball. But I really had to look at more as not like a Stanford played well, but more of an Arizona just didn't show up. And hear me when I say this, Arizona should not have been in that game to where they were. They shot 28% from the field. What sport? Like I mean, I don't want to compare this from like men's women's, but like in what sport can you perform at 25% of what you're capable of and still lose by 1 point at the national championship? To me, Stanford should have put this game away a lot earlier and it shouldn't even been close in my opinion. But props to Arizona, they always say good teams find a way to win. And I mean, as you said, Ari McDonald almost made the play of the year in the sports with triple coverage, fade away from the top of the key. Like that, if that would have went in, sports world would have exploded. I think that would have been insane.
That would have. We're going to talk about the other shot later, but that would have been better than Suggs' shot. I don't care. The one thing that kept Arizona in this game is Stanford had 21 turnovers, so that Arizona defense did what they had to do with their offense not necessarily showing up, and that's what was most impressive to me. And yes, Haley Jones won most outstanding player. She deserved it. But if you're going to give it to anyone, even if in a losing effort, I would have given it to Ari McDonald. I mean, all tournament. She's been the story.
All tournament, okay.
Like, she's been the story of the tournament. Arizona had never made it past the Sweet 16 before. They got to the national championship game. I mean, they're just that story alone. And like McDonald's been balling, like just
she balled in the elite or the
against UConn. Yep.
She balled in the Elite Eight. Like she balled all. I mean, she shot 33 against Indiana. Like she was absolutely balling this tournament. So I can see giving it to her. But like my argument here is you cannot shoot 5 for 21 in the national championship.
I agree.
I
agree.
It's like, if they would have won, like if she makes that shot, like it's like it almost sucks to say she would have won. Well, I guess it's a tournament MVP, not just a game MVP. She would have won.
Yeah.
But like, if you would have taken a game MVP from that game and Arizona would have won, like giving it to her over like Pellington, like she's dropping 15 off the bench, like to give it to McDonald would have been like, I think, like she would have shot 6 for 21, but like that's not good.
No, she
60-21
definitely.
doesn't pay you the big bucks.
No, she did not play her best game. I mean, 2 steals on the defensive end, but that's really it. And only 2 assists. Like that was definitely not her best game. And I think
I
if
don't think it
she
was Arizona. I think
no,
Arizona would love to play that game 10 more times the exact same way it went out, but I think in their eyes they think they should have won the game, and I think they should have won the game because they played significantly worse than what they've played all tournament, and they were still 1 point away.
exactly. And if they had just shot even 1% better, they win that game. I mean, if that shot from McDonald goes in, we're talking about an Arizona national championship, despite shooting 28% from the field.
Yeah.
That's basketball for you. I mean, basketball is a heartbreaking sport, but I want to jump into the men's Final Four now. We can talk about Baylor Houston. To me, that was like the most boring Final Four game in a very long time.
Like what? That was a Final Four game. Like it's just my favorite thing was they're like, oh, the Cougars turned into the Texans, and I thought it was funny. Just like Houston sports.
It was like
it was bad.
I've never not looked at my TV more for a Final Four game. Like I was on my phone for the majority of it.
Was there one point in that game where you thought Baylor was gonna lose? Like
no.
The game tipped off, and like I was like, all right, Baylor's gonna win. There's not one time where I was like, Baylor's gonna lose. Like,
yeah,
Houston just didn't show up. I don't know what to do.
Like it was just like it was just boring basketball. And I get it. Both teams are defensive teams first, right? So you kind of knew it was going to be sort of low scoring, and it kind of wasn't. I mean, Baylor had 78 points, but Houston didn't shoot like they could shoot better. They shot 38%, but that's not terrible.
Against Baylor, though, I don't think like you could walk away and be like, we didn't shoot well. Baylor's been known to do that. They're like not the Virginia of this year, but like like how Virginia would always play defense style. Like they're a defensive.
They lock people down. Yeah. Like 38%, not great, but against Baylor, you'll take 38%. But the big difference was Baylor shot 52%, and if you're making over half your baskets, like
they didn't really get out rebounded by that much. They didn't really like turn the ball over that much more. Like it's just like Houston just didn't want to win. I think. I mean, that first half, the game was over. The game was over after.
That's what it felt like. It was like Houston wasn't playing terrible. They weren't playing much worse than Baylor, but Baylor was just hitting everything.
It almost felt like they just didn't prepare for the game. They just mentally were not prepared, and then they fell down early, and I think they mentally just checked out, which is tough to say because it's the Final Four. But like, I mean, I guess you could almost say Houston had like a favorited bracket. I mean, the lowest seed they played was a 10 seed before that. So if you think about it, they played a 15, a 10, and 11, and then a 12 or something like that. Like they got a little lucky, you could say, with like with the way the bracket went, but that's March Madness, and like that team was clearly better than like the 1 seed or whatever. But they did get kind of lucky. They did not have to play like a true powerhouse. So maybe that's the reason why we're saying, oh, that's why they made it this far. I mean, again, they didn't really play anyone that was like a big name team till Baylor and got absolutely crushed. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is the same Houston team that got beat by ECU. Like,
hey, American represent.
Yeah,
Final Four for the American isn't bad. That's a lot of money.
Hey, no, that's huge because
the money side of it.
UConn left, and then we put a team in the Final Four right after they leave. So, bye UConn.
Props to the American.
We're doing better without you. We'll take UConn women's basketball back though. We'll take them.
Please, we need something.
But no, the Baylor game is just boring. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, that's fine.
The game of the year, the game of
the year is tonight. The second game of the year.
But like the best college basketball game. The best college basketball game I have watched in a very long time. Gonzaga, UCLA, Final Four. UCLA's been the story of the tournament, the Cinderella run. I mean, Jalen Suggs, man. He made the play of the tournament with like 2 minutes to go in the second half with the block and then the full court bounce pass assist, and then made the play of the tournament 10 minutes later. Like, what were your thoughts watching this game?
Well, so I missed the first half of the game. Well, I was making dinner, watching a movie, missed the first half of the game, but I did watch highlights, but like the second half. So I mean, you go into half, UCLA's down 1. I don't think anyone would have thought that. Like, let's be honest.
No.
No one would have thought UCLA would be down 1 going into half. Everyone was saying this is UCLA's like, oh, they're done. Gonzaga's going to keep their win by 10 streak or win by double digits streak alive, other stuff. And I'm like, second half, I was like, all right, turn the game on, it shouldn't be. Gonzaga's going to run away with this, like, whatever. And next, UCLA is just battling, just staying there. I mean, I don't want to point out like one play. There were so many plays. I mean, Johnny Juzang played amazing. Campbell played amazing. Like, there's so many players that just played absolutely amazing to keep UCLA in the game. But like, I think I have to look at like overtime. Like, overtime is where it was March Madness wrapped up in a nutshell. You're thinking with UCLA went up like I believe it was 4 in overtime with like a minute 20 left. And at this point, I'm like, all right, my brother texts me, he goes, Gonzaga. I'm like, yeah, they suck. Because, like, I have Baylor winning, so, of course, I want Baylor to win. They make the layup, and I'm like, you know what? Game's over. No big deal. But then Gonzaga comes right back. They're down 5. They drill a 3, and I'm like, hold on. We're not going anywhere. And then, was it Juzang that made the layup? The tip in?
Yes.
With 6, I believe?
He missed the shot. Missed the shot. Got his own rebound. Put it back up.
Okay, that's March Madness in a nutshell. The fact, like, I'll always say it. College kids choke. How do you not get that rebound, Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not get that board? You have you're triple teaming. No one's in the box. No one's in the box. No one's in the paint.
No one was in the paint. No one was in the paint.
But he makes that shot. And I'm thinking double OT. I'm with it.
Yeah.
And then Suggs pulls up from half. Hail Mary, Friday night or Saturday night. The banks are still open, and Gonzaga is still dancing. Truthfully though, I don't want to say UCLA choked because like they were the underdog, but I felt like it was their game. When the moment that game went to OT, you're telling me Gonzaga's in there like, bro, we're not supposed to be here. What's going on?
Yeah. No, once it got to OT, I was like, two things are gonna happen. UCLA is gonna pull away and like be the Cinderella, or Gonzaga is gonna snap out of it and be like, wait a second, we're Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And neither of those things happened. But when Suggs let go of that shot, I go, it's good. And then it fell. I
didn't think it was going in. I didn't think it was going in. I was like, oh, that's top of the shot clock. I didn't know. Little do I know about basketball. But I mean, like, let's just take a moment and look at like, I'm with you. Like, if you look at that shot is like, it reminds me of the Butler shot against Duke. The half-court shot where that didn't
fall. Yep.
It reminds me of like Northern Iowa pulling up from half court and draining.
Yep.
Like, there are so many memories. It's funny. My girlfriend was watching the game with me. I remember the start of March Madness. She goes, those things happen, like buzzer beaters. I thought those were only in the movies. I'm like, no, those are so common, like in March Madness. And we were watching the game, and I was like, told you. It was just
it was
crazy.
I was watching with my girlfriend.
Or the
She's
Villanova. I'm thinking of Villanova.
Yeah,
like,
Villanova.
Marcus Page makes the shot, then Villanova goes down and makes the 3.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Like, I was watching with my girlfriend, and she's from LA, so she was rooting hard for UCLA. And like, I want to see an undefeated team. Like, I really do.
I don't.
And the fact that it's not like a powerhouse conference school either. It's Gonzaga out of the West Coast. Like, I want that. I've never been a big Gonzaga fan, but I want them to. I love Suggs. But that game, I'm gonna say it was better than the UNC Villanova game. Like,
I will say no for the sole fact that it was a national championship and there were fans.
Fair, but like just sheer basketball. Like,
basketball.
UCLA played a perfect game. If you cannot play a game better than that, and they still lose. They shot 57% from the floor, 47% from 3. Like, and Gonzaga shot 58, 33. Like,
Gonzaga's just the better team. That's simply as it was. That's just Gonzaga. Was
exactly. They had the same amount of turnovers. Gonzaga had 5 more assists. Like, UCLA out-rebounded them 32-26. Like, UCLA played a perfect game, and you still can't beat Gonzaga. Like, that just shows you how good Gonzaga is. And you saw it in overtime. Drew Timme kind of took over there.
Down low.
Like, and I have a hot take for tonight. We'll get into that when we get there. But about Drew Timme. But that game was so fun. That game, like you said, that game was March Madness, like, encapsulated. And
I think what I like most about Gonzaga, and I think you could agree with me, is there really isn't a star player. Like, they have stars, but there is not, like, There's not like an Ari McDonald on the team.
Yep.
Like if we go back to Arizona, like they don't play through one player. So if one player's cold, that's fine. You got 4 more to deal with on the court. Like anyone, I mean, Suggs took the last shot, but I feel like anyone could have taken it, and you would have felt the same confidence in it going in because that's just everyone on that team can ball. Like Gonzaga's undefeated for a reason. It's hard to go undefeated in any sport, let alone
Yep.
basketball. So I mean, they're gonna look to complete the 32-0, which I don't think has been done.
Indiana won in 7. They went undefeated in 75.
Did they play
I don't
30
know.
games? I don't remember how many games
I'll
it
look it up.
was.
I'll look it up right now. But
I know Wichita, they went into the season undefeated, and then they lost to Kentucky in the round of 32 a couple years back. They're a couple teams,
Kentucky entered the tournament undefeated.
and
1 year they lost to Wichita State. I
yeah,
remember they like Wichita State came in undefeated 1 year. Kentucky
and
beat
then
them,
Kentucky beat
and then
them, and then
Kentucky. Yep. Yeah. But like
man,
it's hard, and like
it
we can get.
is,
I'll get into my hot take.
especially in
IU went.
basketball. It's basketball.
IU
You
went.
just one cold night of shooting.
IU went exactly 32-0, so they'll
Okay,
tie it.
okay.
We'll get into the championship preview now. I have a hot take about Gonzaga. Drew Timme is more important to Gonzaga's success than Suggs is.
I mean, yeah, I could agree
Especially in
because
this
against
game.
Yeah, because I don't think Baylor's going to give you the jump shot tonight. I think you're going to have to play a
Exactly.
lot of. I think you're going to have to play a lot of post, a lot in the paint. I could see that a lot. Yeah, I'd have to agree with tonight. I would give Drew Timme a better game than Jalen Suggs. I don't know though. That's tough because like, I don't know. Maybe Baylor's playing to take away the ISO and to take away the post game, and they want to play for the jumpers. Because I mean, I would say if where you'd rather play Gonzaga, you'd rather have them playing jump shots than scoring in the paint. They've been really successful this year, this tournament especially with scoring in the paint. It's tough though, man. Like, cause this team, like as I said, there's 5-star players. Who are you gonna like?
There's no
You can't
weakness
put
on
your
this team.
focus.
That's the
Yeah,
scary thing.
I think their
Is that
weakness is the fact that they're undefeated.
yes,
I think that's the only pressure on them tonight is the fact that they're trying to complete an undefeated season. I think all the pressure is on Baylor though.
yes, because everything is in Baylor's court now. It's like, all right, all year long, it's been you two. You two have been the teams. You guys have been the best 2 teams in the country, and they were supposed to play each other, but it got canceled because of COVID.
Yep.
Like, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. We finally got it. I think most of the country's going to be rooting for Gonzaga. I think most of the country wants to see history.
Boo, we don't like the country. It's okay. I mean, back what was this? This game was back like 3rd week of the season. It was supposed to be a 1 versus
Yeah.
2, I believe, and
Yes.
it's a 1 versus 2 right now because they're the top 2 seeds in the tournament. So I guess, hey, woo, movie trailer that didn't get spoiled, that didn't spoil the movie, I guess is what you want to look at it as.
Yeah.
I don't. I want to pick Baylor. So for my bracket, I picked Gonzaga Baylor championship, and I picked Baylor to win. So for me, who did not watch much basketball this season, besides a bit of Big 12 basketball, because I'm a big Big 12 guy when it comes to college basketball, I wanted to go with Baylor. I don't know why. I just picked them. But looking at this game and looking at the way the tournament's gone, like, what would be the more impressive run of the tournament is like what I want to look at. And I actually think if you look at it from like if you want to look at a resume, Gonzaga has put up the better resume so far this postseason than Baylor has, just for how dominant the games have been. They had a streak of what it just ended, but it was what was it like?
They've played 31 games.
And it
They won
was
29 of them by
we're
double
all by
digits.
10, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that's impressive in itself, regardless of who you're playing. Because I mean, think about it. You go to the 4th quarter, you take starters out, but that means your bench players are just as good. So, but Baylor, like the thing with Baylor is they have impressed me, but they haven't had that win yet where I was like, they're dominant. You know, like to me, Houston lost that game. Baylor didn't win that game. So
Yeah.
I think I am a little concerned for Baylor going into tonight. I still think they're gonna win just because I can't go against my gut feeling. I'm gonna take Baylor by 5 tonight, but I would not be surprised if Gonzaga like blows them out. That would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah, no, like so you see you're taking Baylor by 5. I see this going one of 2 ways. Gonzaga's going to come out angry that they that they couldn't keep their 10-point streak alive, and they're just going to put like Baylor in the ground and win by like 20.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that.
Like
Gonzaga big or Baylor small?
Or Baylor small. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree. If it's a close game, give me Baylor because I think Baylor's going to make the plays defensively late.
That's what I was gonna say because I feel like Gonzaga or Baylor's a more well-rounded team to play a close game than Gonzaga is. Not only based off of like the fact that I think Gonzaga's more talented, but like I said it like if you want to take UCF football, I'm like they can't play a fourth quarter. Baylor knows how to play these close games. They know how to play late into games because they do it all season long. Gonzaga, that was their first game that they really had to sweat.
Yeah, that was the first time all season that they had to be like, oh, snap.
And that does worry me because you're in the national spotlight now. I mean, I anticipate this to be a pretty high watched game. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't get bigger than this. This is the biggest stage in men's college basketball. It's put up or shut up time, and I feel like if Gonzaga is going to win, it's going to be big because like this is a team that they can turn into Thanos. Like this team is this is the best team I've ever seen in my lifetime. This is better than that Kentucky team with Anthony Davis.
I don't know. That Kentucky team was
good. Kentucky team was good. That Kentucky team was good.
That Kansas team was good last year, just saying.
It was. But
they would have won if there was a tournament.
Dayton was good that last year too. Like Dayton could have given a run for their money with Obi. Like, but this Gonzaga team, man.
So Gonzaga's lowest this tournament is 83, and I think Baylor's highest is 81. So I mean, it goes
that's something though. Yeah,
different styles of basketball, but it goes to say, I mean, a team that's gonna score. I mean, Gonzaga plays very fast paced. They, I would honestly say they probably are one of the lead. They probably lead the country with time left on the shot clock when they shoot. They play very fast paced basketball, which could work against a Baylor team that plays defense. They just wear them out. Next thing you know, we're playing.
But the thing with Gonzaga is, they score a lot of points. They also play really good defense. That's the scary thing. Is like let's just look at steals. Baylor averages 8.9 steals a game. Gonzaga averages 8.1. Baylor's defensive output is impressive, but Gonzaga's playing almost as good defense, and they're scoring 91 points a game. Like, they're insane.
The thing I would look at is if you just go with who's more prepared for this game, I would say Baylor is probably more prepared. If you just look at the fact of Gonzaga's probably tilted. Like, they're probably like, what just happened? How are we OT? We're Gonzaga. We're the Bulldog. We don't do this. But Baylor has been playing games all year. I mean, they lost 2 of their last 6 of the season or something. They lost the Big 12 tournament, I believe.
Yeah, that was their second. Yeah, that was their second loss of the season.
Because Cade Cunningham absolutely took off that game. I mean, Baylor didn't lose till the literal end of the season. But I think losing towards the end better prepares you for March Madness because hey, we can't do that now. Because if we do that now, we're going home. But also, I really think the preparation, I think Baylor's going to go in with a better mindset than Gonzaga will for the fact of Baylor's like, all right, you know what? We've played good teams all year. We know how to battle. We're going to work our game. We're going to play defense. We're not going to do too much. I don't know. I mean, I say if Baylor wins, Jared Butler's going to be MVP. I think if Gonzaga wins, I think it'll be a big game from Drew Timme as well. So I think he'll be outstanding player of the tournament. It's tough though, because as I said, Gonzaga, anyone can win. Whoever has the good game tonight and Gonzaga wins gets it, because they've all played well all tournament. Yeah,
this game is going to be. I think this could be another classic game like we got in the Final Four. This could be a very fun game. But I think we're gonna know at halftime. At halftime, I think we're going to know how this game's going to go. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to know. I think Baylor, or I think Gonzaga, if they pull away, it'll be with 7 minutes left in the game. I think Baylor's just going to get worn out. But I think if the game's still close with, I would say 5 to 7 minutes left, I think if it's still within 2 scores, I think we're going to see it come down to the wire.
This, like I said, this is going to be a lot of fun.
It comes down to the big run, right? Isn't that college basketball? Whoever has the last big run.
Who's going to get that big run? Yep. this Gonzaga team, like their whole game is just one big run. It feels like it feels like they just
Ah,
like
yeah, I
put
can't
teams
argue that.
away. Like
I can't argue. I mean, I'm just looking
they're
at their
so
like
dominant. Like
they
even in the
haven't.
tournament, they're playing good teams and just murking them.
I mean, to be okay. So who would you say? So Baylor's best team they played this tournament, I would say was probably I would say Villanova. I don't think
Yes,
Arkansas was that good. I think Villanova was probably the best team they played. I think for
I agree.
Gonzaga, the best team they played was UCLA. So it goes to show who's played the better competition later in the tournament. Granted, it was one game apart, but I
I
think
would say Creighton. I would say
you think
Creighton's the
Creighton.
best team they played. Yeah, Creighton had a good season and they beat them by 20.
Okay, if you want to say overall, but I think like right now in March, UCLA was
Oh
probably the best.
yeah, yes,
Because I
but
think like if
UCLA.
Creighton beats Gonzaga, I don't think Creighton would have gone on to the Final Four.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
But I would if UCLA won, I probably would have been on UCLA's the Cinderella story, all the momentum. I probably would have been on the UCLA side to win the game tonight if UCLA had won the game.
yep. No, yeah, I
So
agree with that. Just because UCLA got hot at the right time, and that's
plus
what
I
March
don't
Madness is all about.
Creighton's all
Who
over
gets
the
hot?
place right now. Is McDermott
Yes,
still coaching? Like who?
that
I
story is
love bringing up
crazy.
controversies.
That story was crazy, and I love that the game he was suspended for. Fox News made a graphic like to put on TV. And remember, what was it last year, 2 years ago, when Sam Darnold had mono and ESPN
Yeah.
ran the graphic with him like him pointing? Like it was one
Yeah.
of those graphics. It was like this is hilariously bad.
Yeah, it's just like who thought that was okay? And if so, I'll send my resume to them if they're hiring because I need a new
he,
one.
he was like standing like this, smiling, and said like suspended one game because of racial insensitivity. I was
It's
like,
like he's proud of it. It's like, come on. I also, but like real quick on that, like when are coaches gonna learn? I don't,
like what?
I don't get it.
My thing was like, bro, why are you telling them to stay on a plantation? Like, I've never heard that saying in my life. Like, where
Yeah,
did you get
what
that saying
a
from?
plantation? Like I'm gonna be honest, like I don't even know what a plantation is.
You're in Iowa. There are no plantations.
Yeah, I'm also not the brightest person in the world, but like
No, you're in Omaha, Nebraska. Sorry.
I don't
Still no
even know
plantations.
what stand on a what is he gonna do on the plantation? Like a
Yeah, stay.
plantation's a field, right? Am I
Yeah,
correct on that? Like a field.
it's a big farm, basically.
What does that mean? Go stand what? What? Go stand a plant. Okay.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do on there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Coaches are stupid. I think he should lose his job over it.
Yeah. Like, I don't like Dabo says questionable things every now and then. Like,
Dabo's an idiot too. He literally
Dabo,
said
he's
college
another
athletes
one.
shouldn't be paid, and yet he's making millions off college students. So
He also, when was it? It was like
I know what you're
last
gonna
year.
bring up. Yep.
Last year when like players were kneeling, he's like, just get it, just leave the country. It's like Dabo. That's not the point, bro.
Yeah. Hey, in other news, Bill Self signed a lifetime deal with Kansas the other day.
Okay, I have a hot take about that. That's the dumbest thing ever. They don't have an athletic director.
I think
It's
it's
like
stupid too with all with the Les Miles stuff that's going on right now.
the person who would give that out does not exist at Kansas right now. It's like the
Yeah, but
school president
they
gave it to him.
yeah, it's legal. I mean, because he's
It
technically
is.
the standing AD, so he can do
It's
it.
just
But let's be honest, Bill Self's never going to coach anywhere else.
that no, that I get why they did it, but it'd be hilarious if the new athletic director came in and was like, "Yo, can we like restructure this? Because I don't want to give you a lifetime contract."
The only chance I saw Bill Self ever leaving was over a controversy, and after the
Yeah,
Adidas scandal, he was still there, so I figured
yeah.
he was.
If they kept him after that, he's kind of
Unless he
there
Rick
for good.
Pitino's it or something, I think he'll be there forever.
Shout out Slick Rick. He got back in the tournament this year with Iona.
Yeah, he almost beat was it Alabama, right?
Bama, yeah,
He almost
Bama. They
beat
hung
Bama.
around. They hung around for a while.
Yeah,
He's like
and
the
then they
only the
literally, it's like the graph, like the emoji with like the downward
uh-huh.
graph. That.
That was them. Yeah.
It was so good
He's
for
like
like the first 30 minutes, and then it was just okay, we're done.
he's the third or second or third coach to ever lead 5 separate teams to the tournament.
It is what it
But like
is.
good for Rick.
Hey, overall
And
though, let's mention how bad your bracket was and how good my bracket was. If
let's
Baylor wins,
let's not talk about my bracket.
hey, I'll
Like
finish 10 points out of first place in the big group with 100 people if Baylor wins.
yeah.
So I'm proud of that.
If Gonzaga wins, I'll still be around like 40th. I'm 45th right now. So
Yeah, that's bad. Like I think I'll
Jeremy,
still be ahead of you with
yeah, no,
even
you'll
Gonzaga
still be
wins.
ahead of me. Jeremy,
Yeah.
get better friends who don't do good at brackets so I can win.
To be fair, it's a weird year. I feel like you could have just guessed.
This team was so in my family bracket group, I put a joking bracket where I have Baylor winning it all, and that's the bracket that's in first place in my family group right now. Like the bracket I made as a joke is doing better than the bracket I took seriously.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
That's college basketball this year.
I only had 3 Elite Eight teams right this year, so wait, I had 4 Elite Eight teams right. Wait, I had 4 apparently. I'm a genius.
Good job.
Michigan, I had Michigan. So my Final Four was Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Okay.
I'm a big Big 12 guy. What can I say?
Yeah.
After what was it when Illinois beat, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be free for Oklahoma State. Then they got absolutely blown out by Oregon State. But Oklahoma Sate could have easily found themselves in the Final Four, and I would have been sitting pretty. But I had Texas, who lost their first game, West Virginia, who lost one of their first games, Ohio State, who lost their first game, Kansas, who didn't show up after their first game. So last minute, I will say I had Kansas in the championship, and the last minute I switched them for Gonzaga.
Hey, it worked. I mean, this year they said there was 14 upsets of seeds separated by 5 or more, which is the most ever. Which I think last year would have been similar to that. Like last year there was Dayton was going to be a number 1 seed out of the A10. So that just tells you how weird college basketball was last season. So to get that again, I think is really fun. And at the end of it, we get the 2 best teams in college basketball playing for the national title. So you can't really ask for any more than that. Got a lot of upsets. Got the 2 best teams in the country playing for it all. I mean, perfect ending.
Go Bears!
Jared, you got any final thoughts besides Go Bears?
No, I might edit in some bear flags on my hand right here. So woo! It's gonna be some of the worst editing I've ever done. I don't know. We'll see. But
what do
Baylor,
they say? What do they say? They say sick 'em.
Woo! I don't know what that means.
Yep.
We cool. Woo, Baylor.
All right, I'm gonna be pulling for Gonzaga. I want to see history. I want to see an undefeated team. But stick with us.
I'm all for it. For
sure. Stick with us. After this short break, we're going to come back with Johnny Jackson talking some baseball.
Boo, Johnny Jackson, boo.
Here's the story of a show creator who was gearing up to form a bigger crew. One's a California guy,
a god of graphics.
One hosted Girls on Deck.
It's a story of a 4-year nightmare, which is finally coming to an end. Thank God.
And the new kid, a Packers lover.
Tampa forever. So then one day all these people work together to face a year unlike one that's ever been. And his group rebranded in Orlando. That's the way we all became HTFN. 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 That's the way we became HTFN.
That's blasphemy!
What's up, everyone? We're back. Johnny Jackson is now with me. We're going to talk some baseball. And Johnny, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I woke up at about 5 o'clock this morning to get a COVID vaccine. Got my shot, got my microchip. I'm ready to go.
All chipped up. I love it. I'm going to be getting chipped up at some point this week. But let's talk some baseball, bro. I mean, opening day came. Been about a week. We're about a week into the season. We saw Ohtani yesterday. That was a lot of fun until he got hurt. What are your thoughts so far on this season?
This season, well, first of all, rest in peace, Washington Nationals. They could not avoid COVID again. It's just weird. I mean, obviously COVID's still a thing, but it's less of a pressing issue, I would say, than before. But yeah, Ohtani yesterday looked amazing. I mean, you can just tell, at least for me, when a pitcher or a hitter just does something so incredible that your body just makes a noise before you can think. And it happened when he was on the mound, and it happened with that home run. I mean, he was crazy. 115 miles per hour off the bat. Love Shohei Ohtani Sundays.
Yeah, no, like you said, your body just makes a sound before it can think. And when he went deep, I remember joking with all my roommates, oh, watch, he's going to strike out 10 and go yard. And then that first pitch, just the crack of the bat, ESPN had their field mics up to 11, but like the crack of that bat was just insane. I just remember jumping out of my bed just screaming. Like it was like you can't write a better story than that. And unfortunately got taken out in the fifth. But I really wanted to see him continue. But I mean, over 100 miles per hour 9 times. Like this dude's a beast. And do you think he can stay healthy enough to where this can be a normal thing?
I hope so. I want him to so bad. If he's healthy for a whole year, he has a pretty good shot to win the MVP. Just because even if he's like a slightly above average pitcher, that's like 3.5, 4 wins there. And then if how good of a hitter is, that's like 3.5, 4 wins there. He could sneak his way into like an 8 or 9 win season relatively easily.
Yeah, no, that's what I was telling my roommates yesterday, and they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, if he can just be like slightly above average at both, how's he not the MVP? Like you're adding a starting pitcher who could be a 2 at times, and a hitter who is your 2, 3, or 4 hitter. Like how's that not the MVP? But outside of Ohtani being insane, what have been some surprises, 5 games into the season for you?
I mean, I've really just watched Dodger games. I did watch a couple White Sox games. The White Sox were good. Hopefully Tim Anderson's able to walk it off. Also, the biggest surprise is why they don't just wipe the bases like before the games. It's absolutely insane. Like the bases are still wet in the first 2 innings. That seems like a great oversight. Like if you're watering the fields, just take a towel and wipe it so Bryce Harper doesn't get hurt, so Tim Anderson doesn't get hurt. Like we've seen it happen so many times. Like just wipe the bases. You have a towel.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like too much common sense for the MLB to do it. It just makes like the MLB's not logical. So yeah. I mean, I think a surprise for me is the Yankees not hitting. Like they're getting people on base. They're just not bringing them in. And it's been a frustrating 3 games. I mean, even when they won, it wasn't overly impressive. It was kind of just Gary Sanchez. And that's another surprise is Gary looks good. And if Gary can keep this up, I'm excited.
Yeah. Like my thing is like, I want Gary to either be really good or really bad. Like just average is so annoying and boring, whatever. Like either hit the crap out of the ball or hit like 180 again. Just pick it.
That's what I'm saying. Like give the Yankees something. Either we can get rid of you or like you're the catcher for the future. Because Higgy's good. Higgy's might not be like a starting catcher for a whole season good, but he's good enough. And if Gary sucks, it might be time for Higgy. But so far, Gary looks like rookie Gary, and that makes me very excited. What is a team so far? I know you said you haven't watched a ton of baseball, but what's a team so far that you think like looks really good?
I would say the White Sox if Tony La Russa wasn't like so brain dead half the time. Like last night, why is Liam Hendricks not in that game?
Yeah.
Against Tron Rendon. Like what? Like why is your best reliever, the guy who you spent the money on, who came
the best reliever in baseball, arguably?
Yeah, best easily top 3 at worst.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he not in that game? The best outs, the most important outs in the game aren't always in the 9th inning.
Correct.
So saves are stupid. They're a stupid stat. They're cool. Stupid stat. Stats don't matter. Freaking Tony La Russa. Stats don't matter. Then why are you only going to use Liam Hendricks in a save situation?
Yeah. Tony La Russa worries me as a manager with the White Sox because like we said in the offseason, that team is so fun, and Tony La Russa is so not fun. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of Tony La Russa. I've not really ever been a fan of him. But I mean, one team that looks shockingly good, and it hurts me to say this, is the Astros. They kind of dominated Oakland in that 4-game set, and that scares me because I had Oakland winning the West.
Me too. I mean, listen, the Astros, they did do the cheating scandal, whatever. We're like 3-4 years past that by now. Honestly, Dodgers won the World Series. I don't care anymore. I do not care anymore about the sign stealing scandal. They're 3 or 4 years removed. Alex Bregman is still one of the best hitters in baseball. Jose Altuve is weird. He's been kind of inconsistent in the last couple of years, but he's still good. Carlos Correa, that is a guy who can make a lot of money this offseason. But the Astros are good. It's just I was pretty high in their lineup, but it was their pitching. They have too many young guys, too many question marks for me. But they're pitching well.
Yeah, and that you said you're over it. I'm not over it. They took a World Series appearance away from my Yankees. I'm still salty. Um, I don't think I'm ever gonna get over it. I'm gonna hate the Astros forever. Um, so it pains me to see them be good. But it is early in the season, so it's not time to panic yet if you're Oakland. If they get swept by the Dodgers and start the season 0-7, 0-8, then it might be time to panic if you're Oakland. But I'm not too worried yet. I still think Oakland will come through and win that division. What's a team besides Oakland, because we just talked about them, that have like really started the season bad, and obviously 162 games, no need to panic, but you might be a little worried about them?
I feel like I'd say the Red Sox. I mean, they're this year. It's really about, in my opinion, it's about whether their pitching can stay healthy. But their offense against the Orioles looked awful, looked bad. JD Martinez hit his first home run, absolute moonshot. But besides that, I mean, what is there? I don't think their outfielders had like a single hit all series. I saw.
Yet there's bad, and then there's what Boston did. I mean, in 3 games they scored 5 runs. Like, yikes. And I should say the Yankees offense scoring output wise was not that much better, but like the way Boston did it, it just wasn't impressive. And that the game yesterday was like 10-1 for a majority of the game, and they scored 2 more late. Like, my roommate had been saying all offseason that Boston's going to be the worst team in the AL East. And I kind of was like, maybe Baltimore, like I can maybe see it happening, but I think Baltimore will still be last. If that keeps up, it's going to be Boston. It's not going to be close.
Yeah,
Like they're bad.
I hope they're not bad. I hope they're good. I hope they're good enough to be like, oh, I can watch a Red Sox game and not want to like jump off the green monster. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they got 3 against Tampa now coming up. Tampa's offense hasn't been that great outside of yesterday. I think they scored a bunch, but those first 2 games there wasn't a lot of scoring. If they get swept by or if they get swept by Tampa, and they start 0-7, yikes!
That's not good.
And like, Pavetta is pitching today. I've never heard of this man. And you got Perez tomorrow. And if it will load, I can tell you who's going to pitch on Wednesday. But like today's probably going to, I'm chalking that up to a loss. I don't even know who Pavetta is, but I'm chalking it up to a loss.
There was the guy in Philly who was like, oh, he'll break out. He's got spin rate.
Like, spin rate can only do so much if you don't know where the ball's going.
Yeah, who knows? Stop parking, please. Jared's gonna have to cut this bit right here. I'm gonna go see what's going on. So I just said no to joining the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh my God.
Why are they coming? I don't know.
That's crazy. We're talking about Boston. So I was looking at who's pitching, and they're going to face Yarbrough and dang it, who else was it? I pulled up a different team too, so I got to go back to Boston. They're facing Yarbrough, Glasnow, and they're facing Waka tonight. If they're going to get a win, it's tonight against Michael Waka. But if they don't, I'm taking Yarbrough and I'm taking Glasnow over Evaldi and Perez.
Yeah, Glasnow's slider looked good. I mean, let's see how consistent it is. But if that slider cutter thing is legit, Tyler Glasnow can really raise that ceiling.
Watch out. Yeah, no, he can be special. He's shown that. It might be depending on how this series looks, it might be panic time in Boston. But a team that has looked bad to me is Atlanta. I mean, 3 runs against the Phillies of all teams. And yes, Wheeler and Nola looked amazing. But you're Atlanta. You're supposed to be able to score. And you didn't score. Acuna did not look good all series long. Obviously, they're going to win the division. I don't think the Mets have a shot. But 3 runs in 3 games is a bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if Atlanta's not going to take it, I mean, the Mets are hungry, Mets are fiery. Steve Cohen, bad dude, good owner. Yeah, Steve Cohen. I mean, listen, the Mets can, especially with Stroman coming back too. That's a huge acquisition. They never should have let Zach Wheeler go, but hey, if the Braves are going to lie down and take it, the Mets are going to give it to him.
I'm kind of mad we don't get a Mets Brave series until May 17th. Like that's something I would want to see like right now. Because those two teams should finish 1-2. And who knows about the Nats? I mean, hopefully they get back from COVID soon. But keeping it in Atlanta, the MLB pulled out of the All-Star game. What were your thoughts when that news first broke?
So I think it's very important to understand the full context of what's going on. Yes, the bill does have a lot of examples of voter suppression, but it was not it was not the player's decision. It was not even really Rob Manfred's decision. MLB's sponsors, the corporate sponsors said, if you play the All-Star game in Atlanta, we will not buy advertisements. And so MLB, a business whose goal is to make money, said, oh, well, we want to make money off the All-Star game, this huge 4-day event that always makes everyone a lot of money. We're going to move it somewhere else where we can make a lot of money. Personally, in my opinion, even if this didn't happen, I feel like they were going to try and move the All-Star game to Texas anyways, because it's guaranteed 100% attendance. So this gives it an easy way. And plus, it looks good on the PR side. It does. The players have, by and large, been in favor of it. So MLB gets a PR boost that they didn't really go out of their way to get. And they also keep their money and possibly get more money by moving the game to Texas.
Yeah, so I get why they did it. And I'm not mad that they did it. I do think it kind of sucks that they're taking money away from the city of Atlanta because Atlanta's a great city. But I get it. And a lot of people on Twitter are saying like, oh, this is unprecedented. No, this has happened before. The NBA pulled out of Charlotte. I think the NCAA pulled out of Indiana a couple years ago. Like this happens, and this happens often. Those are for different bills. The NBA pulled out of North Carolina for the bathroom bill. And I think the NCAA pulled out of Indiana for a similar one. I could be mistaken. But I think this was going to happen. It was kind of, the writing was on the wall there. And you say they're going to move to Texas. I would like to see them to go to Milwaukee because I'm sure they were going to honor Hank Aaron in Atlanta this year. So go to Milwaukee. He played there too. You can honor Hank Aaron there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be cool. But do I have faith in MLB to do the right thing? Absolutely not. I have faith in them to do what they think will be the best for their bottom line, which is moving the game to Texas.
Yeah. And that, I did not think about the money aspect of it. Going to Texas makes a lot more sense. You can fit 100% of people in that new ballpark. I'm sure they were going to get an All-Star game soon anyway because it's a new stadium. So why not give it to them now? That makes a lot of sense now that you bring it up. But what are some things this week, game-wise or player-wise, that you're looking out for?
I'm looking out for honestly, I'm looking out for Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he looked good for about 3 or 4 innings, but then that 5th inning, he didn't look good. He didn't look sharp. The command went kind of sideways. Also, I think everyone should kind of be on the lookout for this great big buildup of, going straight from a 60-game season straight to 162. Now, obviously, these are professionals who are getting paid a lot of money to play a game, but also that's a very big jump. We're probably not going to see it in April or May, but as we get closer to June, get closer to the All-Star break, we might see some of these pitchers start to wear down a little bit and be a lot less effective. Also, with MLB supposedly cracking down on pine tar while Craig Kimbrell has like a huge mound of it on his head.
Yeah.
Come on, like either enforce it or don't. I think they should enforce it because it gives it a free, easy way to increase offense, lower strikeouts, put more balls in play without you actively changing any rules or making the fans upset.
Yeah, no, that That's my whole thing with it is enforce it or don't enforce it. Don't be like, oh yeah, we're going to, and then not do anything. Like just say it's allowed or it's not allowed. And if anything, I think they should just be like, okay, look, you guys can only use X, whether that's pine tar, whatever, right? Instead of just like, oh yeah, it's happening and we're gonna do something and then just not. That's kind of annoying. But I'm with you on the pitches wearing down thing. That's something that's really interesting because watching the Yankee game the past couple of days, you had Herman yesterday. They kept him on a limited pitch count, but he also got shelled in his last inning, so they took him out. That made me very happy. I remember tweeting, I was like, "Look, if Domingo Herman gets shelled, I'm not gonna be angry." Um, if anyone on the Yankees I want to lose, it's Domingo Herman, so they can bring Devi up. With Kluber, they kept him on. They were like around 85 pitches. These guys are gonna have a little bit of their pitches. They're gonna be dealt with like baby gloves here. They want them for October, and the Yankees will see Tyone on Wednesday. They got Cole tomorrow, Gumby today. So that's another pitcher I'm looking at to see is Tyone. But this pitcher thing, it's gonna be interesting. Because like you said, that's a huge jump. 102 games added to what you did last season. That's a lot. I think your Garrett Coles, your Shane Biebers, those guys, the Grom, they'll be fine. But it's kind of everyone else where it's like, okay, we could see some stuff here, which sucks. I don't want to see injuries, but I think we're gonna see some.
Maybe even like a Max Scherzer types who are just kind of maybe this is the year Max Scherzer is finally over the hump and the regression really starts to set in. Older guys who just aren't really able to keep up anymore. I think honestly, this might be the best time for like a Justin Verlander to get injured for a year because now he's able to really build fully back up. Because we saw with 2020 the whole ramp up. No, we're not playing. Oh, we might play now. Like so many pitchers got hurt for nothing, and especially with the DH, with the absence of a DH in the NL. I think we've already seen a pitcher get hurt. I want to say.
I believe so too. I don't remember who it was. The Marlins pitcher the other day got hurt, but I don't remember his name. It was their starter in that second game.
Was it Pablo Lopez?
No, I picked him up, or it was the third game. Sorry, I picked him up in fantasy. Hold on, I'll be able to tell you. And then he got hurt like right away.
I know Sixto's hurt.
Yeah, Sixto's hurt. Sixto's not going to be up for a hot minute. Let me tell you who it was. It was Saturday. It
wasn't Sandy. Sandy was phenomenal.
Elser Hernandez. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Probably.
So sorry to Hernandez, but yeah, he got hurt. His like velocity dropped like 10 miles an hour in like the third inning. Yeah. So he might be out for a hot minute. But something I'm looking out for, like just today, is how does Steven Matz look? Because he had a rough go in New York, but like you see it, he has the stuff to do it. He just hasn't. He gets shelled almost every time he pitches. So you're in Toronto now. They're playing in Texas. He's starting at 4. What's gonna happen? This show will go up after he started. So Steven Matz, if you got shelled, why? If you did good, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really rooting for you. You're in our division.
I mean, the next thing is that he actually has a center fielder now.
But he's out. Springer's not playing.
That's right. I mean, hey, anyone's better than Brandon Nimmo in center field. Let's be real.
Fair. I think I could go out there and be better, and that's saying something. But no, Steven Matz is an interesting one to me because the Blue Jays pitching looks surprisingly good. Their offense without Springer wasn't great. The Yankees kind of kept them in check, but their offense didn't look good, and it's kind of reverse of what I thought. I thought the pitching was going to be terrible and the offense was going to score, but it looked like the pitching was really good. The offense was awful. I'm sure that's going to change with Springer. But another thing I'm looking out for is Mike King. Like with the Yankees yesterday, he looked dominant when he came in for Herman. Like he retired 13, 14 straight batters. Like
6 innings out of the pen or something?
6 innings out of the pen. He came in the 4th. He started the 4th inning and finished the game. Like that's exactly what you want. And if the Yankees offense was competent yesterday, they win that game. and the offense just let him down. You can't ask for anything else out of Mike King. Once they brought Mike King in the fourth, I was thinking this is going to be a sloppy game. They're going to use the entire bullpen, and then we're going to enter this Baltimore series looking rough. But he did his thing, and that made me really happy to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, the Yankees' young arms, I was wrong about them in large part. I did not think they were going to be as good as they were. Devi, I'm still not sure how I feel about Devi, but Mike King has looked pretty much good every single time I've watched him. Who's the other one they have? Clark Schmidt, right?
Clark Schmidt, he's hurt right now, but when he comes up, I'm really interested to see because coming into last season, everyone thought Clark was the guy and Mike King was kind of the second guy who wasn't going to be that good, but he can eat innings. But it turned out it was Mike King who was good, and Clark might just be the guy who can eat innings. And then Devi, everyone loves Devi, even if you don't think he's going to be a good pitcher. He's just so fun. He's a short little dude striking guys out. Like, gotta love that. So when Devi gets called back up, I'm sure they're doing the contract manipulation thing that I hate. So he'll be up probably around the end of the month. And if Herman keeps looking like he did yesterday, he might be up next week.
Yeah.
But the Yankees' young arms, they've impressed me so far. And the bullpen didn't have Britton. They didn't have Chapman for the first 2 days. Clark is out. Like, they looked good without those guys. Chad Green is Chad Green. Darren O'Day, I liked him. That was cool. But another game I'm watching tonight is DeGrom. You kind of got to watch DeGrom every time he pitches. He's so good.
How much that game at?
That game is at 7.
All right. Well, I know where I'm going to be at 7:00.
Yep. And poor Matt Moore is facing the Mets on the other side for the Phillies. So, Matt Moore, good luck. You're going to lose. You're facing DeGrom. It would be something. Could you imagine if Matt Moore outdueled Jacob DeGrom tonight?
One thing I am interested to see is because like DeGrom's velocity has gone up pretty much every year. He threw 100 a lot last year. I'm interested to see if he can repeat that kind of like velocity over 162. That'll be interesting.
That's definitely something to watch out for. Is can DeGrom still be invincible even though he just pitched he pitched 60 games last year. Now you're going to 162. What's he going to do? Because no matter what, he's going every 5th day. Even if they're doing a 6-man rotation, he's good. You have to put DeGrom out there every 5th day. You have to put Cole out there every 5th day. You have to do it for Bieber. Like certain guys, you just have to pitch every 5th day. And DeGrom's that guy, best pitcher in baseball. So will he be able to last and keep that velocity up is the biggest question. Johnny, do you have any closing thoughts before I let you go?
I don't think so. Other than I hope the Padres are good. I hope the Dodgers are good. I'm looking forward to that series.
That's going to be fun when they finally play each other. The Padres look good, man. Yesterday, their offense wasn't clicking until Tatis went deep with 2 outs in the ninth. But those first 3 games, they're fun. They're still fun.
Tatis's defense has been rough, but like 3 games in, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah. He leads the league in errors. He has like 5 already. That's a little concerning, but it's early. He'll clean it up. Big Tatis fan. Go Tatis. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Come back after this break. We're gonna have the rant for you. Thank you for joining me, Johnny. It was fun. We'll see you guys later.
I'm in charge of the meeting this week. So you know what we're going to talk about? Basketball. The second thing we're going to talk about this week is basketball. Okay? And the third and last thing we're going to talk about is basketball. Yeah.
God, dude. It's ridiculous. I want to quit. Can I quit? Take that.
Look at the screen. What are we talking about this week?
Basketball.
Welcome back, everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Johnny, Jaret, we had a great show. Hopefully, we're going to have a good national championship game tonight. But this rant is for baseball haters. Yeah, you claim baseball's boring. It's not. If you watched Sunday Night Baseball last night, you saw a pitcher throw 100 miles per hour plus 9 separate times. And oh, by the way, he hit in the 2-hole for his team, and he went deep. You hit a ball 455 feet, 115 miles per hour off the bat. How can you hate that? Shohei Ohtani is everything you want in a baseball player. He's a stud on the mound. He's a stud at the plate. He's an awesome dude. Like, this does not get any better. Shohei Ohtani, you're the GOAT. I love you. Like, you can't hate baseball when Shohei Ohtani's in the league. And oh, by the way, he has the best player of all time on his team too, in Mike Trout. Like, the fact that the Angels aren't good is a separate rant. Like, that might be my rant next week. Is why is that team not good? They have Anthony Rendon, Shohei Ohtani, and Mike Trout, and they just can't seem to make the playoffs. But no, Shohei Ohtani, you can't hate baseball as long as Shohei Ohtani's in the league. Watch that man. Watch that man every day. Get a movie TV so you can watch Shohei Ohtani. I mean, Shohei Sundays. Let's make it a thing. All right. Had a great show. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Things gonna change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I'm got